Hello there. Halal Integrated Platform, or HIP, powered by Halal Development Corporation, is a networking platform that connects to global halal ecosystem, equipping your business with a competitive edge. As a HIP member, you can engage internal HDC stakeholders and external strategic partners within the halal industry. So, what do you get as a HIP member? Here you go. You get financial facility, market access, human capital development, business capability development, and halal industry support and facilitation. How does industry players can utilize HIP? As a buyer, you can search halal products through our HIP database. As a service provider or financial institution, you can engage with halal industry players. For government agencies, you can offer initiatives and programs. Hey, venture capitalists and investors can also seek for unlisted company to invest. For halal professionals, you can access our database for halal ingredient sourcing. Finally, manufacturers and sellers, join us to promote your products and get connected to global supply chain. What are you waiting for? Join us for free as HIP member. Enjoy opportunities and exclusive access and increase visibility in halal industry. Let's go!
Hello everyone, I'm Mizi, and today I'll be showing you on how you can register with HIP. Let's go! First, you need to register your account at hip.hdcglobal.com. Fill in your email, password, and don't forget to tick the box before you proceed. Click Get Started. Success! Next, fill in your personal details on the user profile page and click Update. Success! Most importantly, fill in all information of your company on the business profile page and click Update. Success! Don't forget to fill in the organization information and click Update. Success! Complete your products and services listing here so that your range of products is visible, and here is the example of a completed business profile. And we are done. Easy, isn't it? Register as HIP member and accelerate your business with HDC.
Malaysia's digital journey began more than 2 decades ago when MSC Malaysia was set up to transform the country into a knowledge-based economy. Since then, MSC Malaysia has contributed immensely towards the growth of the nation's digital economy. Our next step is to take the digital transformation from the corridor to the world. Introducing Malaysia Digital, a strategic initiative which will empower the rakyat, businesses and foreign investments. Malaysia Digital will also elevate the participation of Malaysians and local businesses in revolutionizing the world's digital economy. Malaysia Digital opens doors for Malaysians by providing equitable access to digital tools, knowledge and income opportunities. It offers new business opportunities and growth through a supportive digital ecosystem. It also provides flexible and agile investment facilitation to make the country investment friendly. The goal is to drive the digital ecosystem and develop the digital economy to a stage where it contributes at least 25.5% of our GDP and creates 500,000 jobs by 2025.
Malaysia Digital will galvanize public-private partnerships to accelerate the growth of our digital economy and drive positive transformation that ultimately benefit the rakyat, businesses, investors, and also the whole nation.
Establishing Malaysia into a digital nation, one with more adept, stronger and resilient economy, society, and governance. Stepping into tomorrow's digital future today.
Hello there, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to our 11th episode of Tech and Tech HIP Live Talk Show. I'm Syilda, Ismail, live from our office at Halal Development Corporation in Petaling Jaya. Well, for everyone's knowledge, Tech and Tech is a campaign series of aspiring techpreneurs and founders where they be sharing their journey in helping users in the name of Rakyat and Ummah as a whole. So these collaborations between HDC and MDEC, which means HIP and of course Islamic digital economy, is to show Malaysia as a global hub maturing Islamic finance and halal ecosystem backed by strong talent and Sharia expert, of course, remarkable products. Yeah. Okay, coming back to our Tech and Tech HIP Live Talk Show today, we shall delve into a fascinating and highly relevant topic that intersects between innovation, technology, and tradition. So we are exploring the synergy between ERP, enterprise resource planning systems, and the dynamic world of halal industry. For today, unfortunately, my lovely co-host Rosina Ramli is not able to be with me today. Hence, I'm in the spirit of behalf of MDEC Islamic Digital Economy as well. Today, we are joined with Liza Salehuddin, Director, Synergy Information System. Assalamualaikum, Liza.
Waalaikumsalam, Syilda. How are you?
I'm good. And we also have Bernard Wong, Solution Consulting Lead, Sage. How are you, Bernard?
Hi everyone. Thank you for inviting me.
All right. Okay. Let's start the ball rolling. Let's start with Bernard. Bernard, can you provide a brief overview what is ERP, of what an ERP system is, and how it benefits businesses in general? Bernard.
You see, as Syilda had mentioned previously, ERP really stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. You see, today there's so many offering in ERP world. There's so many people that claims to be ERP, but users are actually spoiled for choices. Yet they are actually quite unclear what type of ERP actually suits their environment or their industry. To me, to sum it all up, right, to briefly introduce an ERP. ERP stands for Resources Planning, and basically it helps businesses to plan their resources to perform optimally and efficiently. As an instance, how do we then plan for how many ingredients do we opt to purchase in to successfully put into our production to cater for the market demand, right? And additionally, what I feel an ERP, what does it offer businesses today is really, we can't deny the fact that we are in an information age, right? And the ERP acts like a hub that actually helps businesses to collect and actually analyze all this data, all for the good of their planning and performing optimally. That is how I really feel that how ERP can benefit businesses. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Bernard. Okay, so coming back into halal industry, perhaps Lisa can take this. How does ERP, as mentioned to Bernard, it caters to the businesses, it helps the business. So how does it cater specifically to the needs of the halal industry? Is it still is it relevant? Yeah, Lisa.
Great question, Syilda. So definitely the answer is relevant. So if you look at, as everyone knows, the halal industry spans in various sectors like F&B, we have tourism, we have cosmetics, and many more. So, and as Bernard explained earlier, ERP systems offer a range of features that are fit to the halal industry. So to make it easier, I think the way I will explain this is I will refer back to the 4 pillars of the halal standards, which is the sanitary, traceability, integrity, and composition. So all these 4 will cover under the ERP solution.
Okay, thank you so much, Lisa. Okay, so Lisa is mentioning about the 4 pillars of halal industry, and it can intersect with ERP. So, Bernard, why do businesses, regardless of industry, which industry as mentioned as Lisa just now, cosmetic, pharmaceutical, opt for ERP solutions? And it's not necessary for F&B sahaja, Bernard.
Yeah. Syilda, you see, owners today, right? They as their challenge today is really on how to bring their business to the next level. I believe all business owners, CEOs, or the management have the same questions back in their mind. And the way that how can business efficiently work on all actionable insight data as I have in my system or in my business today, right? As we all know, as I elaborated just now, we can't deny the fact that we are actually in an information age, right?
Yes.
Data are gathered at a record speed compared to the past century. There is so many trillions and trillions of bits of data that is gathered today. And today, the determination factor whether a business can evolve to a greater heights is actually how fast they can react to all this data. Questions such as what is my seasonal demand? What is the outreach of my market? How do I reach the market the quickest? And how do I optimize my indirect spending? Like how do I negotiate contracts, reduce some of my maverick spendings? All these need to be addressed as quickly as possible. And often also the need to collaborate with big data as the need today, right? And so many people are reacting to the social media, to reacting to some celebrities or some seasonal demands in the posting in the social media as well. So what is the social platform outreach that we need to address? Those are actually key decision factors for the management as well. And worse still is I often see businesses that if they are not doing it, their competition are doing it, and they are actually losing market share because of that. So the way that really is to make use of the ERP system to help businesses or management to make the best derived decision. That is to really sum it up. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Bernard. Coming back, as Bernard has mentioned also with regards to big data, and in the halal product manufacturers and in the halal ecosystem, ingredient sourcing is the most crucial, and that is general, that's understood. How does if this can assist the halal industry, how does ERP system facilitate the tracking, the transparency of the ingredient to ensure they meet the halal requirements, and especially when we want to apply for certification and audit, so it has to be from farm to fork. The traceability has to be credible, and it has to be with integrity. Lisa.
Yeah. Sorry, being one of the pillar of the halal standards, which is the traceability. So that actually plays a very important role, right? So let's say if I take example, the recent event in Japan, the Fukushima, so where the treated radioactive water was released to the ocean. So that itself will cause a concern and fear to the people. Is it safe to take seafood? In fact, just to share with you, Syilda, one of my friends is actually flying off to Japan for holidays. And the first question she asked me, is it safe to take seafood? Which definitely I can answer that. But safety concern is very critical. That is very important. So that is all part of standard pillar of halal. Yeah. So when we talk about the ERP, so the businesses need to be able to trace that. So like you mentioned, from fork to the tables, right? So that means we need to be able to know precisely where this ingredient has been sourced from, who are the suppliers, right? So the real-time tracking is very, very, very important. And this will also provide the transparency and the accountability in the supply chain. So if I take another example, the e-procurement, in the ERP system, we have the e-procurement, right? So the e-procurement is like a portal for us to basically deal with the suppliers, communicate with the suppliers, and of course it goes beyond that. We want to be able to track the validity of all the certifications that the supplier has. Are they certified for halal? So that is give us the assurance that we source this item or the raw material or the raw ingredient from the correct vendor, for example, right? And then also we will be able to also track the validity of the halal certificates.
Yeah.
So all these are very important as part of course, to meet the audit from Jakim's side as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we need to make sure we cover everything. Yeah.
Okay, Lisa. So, and as Lisa has mentioned also, the validity of the halal certification and the assurance of it, assurance, and how can companies ensure a smooth transition when integrating, when using ERP system into their existing operation. Also, Bernard, if you can add up, what kind of factors or elements that businesses should consider when deciding how much to customize their ERP system, to fit their unique processes. Yeah, go ahead.
Very good questions actually, Sheila. Firstly, let me just answer the smooth
Yeah.
transition. You see, a lot of businesses they venture into ERP, maybe from the recommendation of some of the peers that they know that is in the businesses as well. But what we as a software provider really want to try to understand from businesses from the start is actually proposing what do businesses really want to achieve. That is when we actually move in to do a very in-depth discovery session, whereby how do we actually optimize each and department individually, and what really is their goal that they want to achieve with an ERP system. As discovery is really an utmost importance for software vendor like us to propose really what is the best solution to meet the requirement of the business. You see, different businesses, even though they are from the same industry, may not need the same thing at that point of time. Some businesses,
Yeah.
they might be slightly ahead of others. They may need some other type of efficiency as compared to some other businesses. They may need a different type of uh, planning kind of tools. So different businesses need different things, what I try to say. And there's not ever one size fit all. And ERP today, such as what we have offer clear business processes for the users. The idea is really to mimic as closely as possible their day-to-day process. So if you are doing 5 steps today, we are really mimicking that 5 steps that you do on a daily basis into the system. So which will actually how do I say, reduce the sort of people acceptance toward the system, because one of the key factors to ensure smooth transition is really having the people or the employees to accept or embrace the system. That is the key. That is one of the key as well. And this also help business to better inform employees what are the goals, because without informing and just placing in a system like an ERP, a lot of employee might have the fear of the ERP system is actually replacing their positions. So which is really not that case. You see, a lot of times when we move into businesses, they will have when we have that interview with them, Brennan, are you coming in really to take away my job from me? That's not the case. To me, it's really placing an ERP help them better utilize their time. So instead of spending time putting in data into Excel spreadsheets, right, or doing it manually, they will be spending time analyzing the data collected by the system for the bosses to better advise the bosses on how to spend their marketing dollar, how to spend their investment dollar, for example. Those are the kinds of things that we try to help users to adopt ERP with, right? And of course, ERP has the idea of really to put in what we call APIs, application programming interface, that basically links to become the bridge to other systems that might not be an ERP. For instance, a HR and payroll system, for example, that you need some data to be flow into the ERP, could be integrated in as well. Okay, and how much that really boils down to the next question that you put through is
what are the factors?
Are the factors, right, to deciding on how much really to customize their ERP and fit their unique requirement of their processes. You see, to me, really, some customization is unavoidable, right? Like the rules of approval as certain businesses, if they need certain approval, they need it, right? We cannot tell them, oh, you do not need the MD approval. We don't go about changing the needs and of their business. But and these are often done based on the uniqueness of certain industry or businesses. And some certain industry, they requires certain steps and certain additional steps to cross-check their data. And we're really not trying to forego that, but really replicate it into the system. And while most ERP, they are very industry focused template, they can just plug in with standard configuration. Actually, what we as a software provider do actually suggest, the rule of the thumb is actually you have to have the discovery session, have the meeting that meets up maybe the ERP that meets 70 to 80% of your business requirement in their standard offering. So without even considering customization, they should at least meet 70 to 80% of what you need as a business. And if the ERP does not meet that, right? So businesses must first then try to take a step back to maybe first try to understand how to optimize their business processes, right? Solving amongst themselves what is the really the most optimal way of handling the business situation before they actually maybe they come up with what they actually need based on the discussion with all the head of departments or all the departments, and then finally proposing this to the ERP vendor, and then again have that meeting, have the discovery meeting on whether that particular ERP software can actually suit 70 to 80% of the newly adopt optimal way, right? And finally, consideration of understanding the impact and importance of customization to business is what we often turn to. What are your must-do list and what is your wish list? You see, when ERP steps into any businesses, a lot of users will come to us and say, "Oh, I wish that I have this, so that I it saves so many of my time, right? It saves so many of my efforts and all those things." But really, the fine line is understanding how does that actually impact your business, impact the business. We would not do a heavy customization on something that maybe you tell me it contributes only to 5% of the business revenue, as contradicts to something that contributes to 80 or 70% of the business revenue. So that actually holds a higher importance. You see, we will look at that first. So what we will try to advise is to delay the wish list into the firstly look at what needs to be done first, and then maybe once the businesses have seen how an ERP can help, then the wish list may or may not even be needed, and it could come in a later phases. That is how we try to help business to have a smoother transition as well. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Bernard. But out of while you're explaining and your clarification, thank you for that. So when you were saying with regards to customization to meet each industry requirement, I was just thinking, it's ERP system scalable? So let's say the business really went really good. Can it accommodate to growth and expansion?
See, that's the idea of when we often of times, right? I'm sure some listeners today, also some bosses also, they will hear about what is so unique about tier 2, tier 1, and tier 3 types of ERP system. You see, a lot of ERP system, they could be the out of the box type, right? Those that is when you buy out of the box and you place it in the system and you are able to use. You see, ERP itself have the tiering system mainly is because it's catering for different types of market. Some market are uniquely cater for. I just give you an example, like the system that we have today, not the one that is out of the box, are specifically cater for if you have factories overseas and you have the trading arm here. So the idea is really to have a system that expand with you, and you do not want to especially ERP, right? No longer are we looking at bookkeeping system, those that actually just handle your accounts, right? But ERP, right? You want to have to choose a system that 5 years down the road or 3 years down the road, and hopefully we as an ERP provider can help you with that. You expand much further, even abroad, outside of Malaysia. So I expanded to Thailand, I expanded to Singapore, Indonesia, for example. We sort of like we are proposing you system that actually helps to cater for that. And one of our unique proposition is really when you do have that kind of expansion, you stick to just one system. And just recently, the business that we have helped, they have actually one of their key criteria for us is they want to be able to expand to Vietnam. And actually, the reason why they have chosen our system is because we have that expansion for them, and we actually have all the tax legislation already so that they can plug in, and their Vietnam colleague can use the same system as they are using here in Malaysia. So the idea is really that. Of course, it gets much more complicated than that, of the intercompany transactions. I will not dwell further into that, but the idea is really to pick a system that when you expand, you do not need to change the system because of that expansion. Yeah.
Okay, understood. All right, great coming from Bernard. So Lisa, coming back with the halal industry. So just now you also mentioned the 4 pillars, and how does the role of transferability play in maintaining the halal integrity, and how can ERP system assist in achieving it? Lisa.
Right. Okay, Syilda. So traceability as part of the 4 pillars of a halal standards. So when we relate back to the ERP systems, ERP system must be able to introduce the bi-directional traceability to trace from the ingredient sources, from the supplier, through the distribution of the final produce to the customer. So that means there must be a basically two-way street. We need to be able to track backwards and also forwards, right?
Okay.
So, and that is very important, because if let's say we need to be able, let's say for example, we have ingredients that we have bought, and then we realize that there is a problem with that ingredient, right? Maybe there's some allergen factors inside there we didn't realize before. So we need to backtrack and identify who are the suppliers, for example, and then has it been manufactured into a product? If yes, we need to be able to recall it back quickly so that it doesn't go to the market. So that is very, very important. So when we read to that, it also it helps to verify the halal status of the ingredient and the products at every stage of the production, right? And we need to be able to also track where the storage is. We have inventory system. When we talk about halal, we won't be able to mix it, right? We have to have a dedicated area only for the halal products. So that also is important. So we need to be able to track that. So traceability is very, very important for businesses, especially the F&B, actually. The other thing that I need to highlight here is if you look into if anything happened and we have a product recall, right? So I need to be able to see at what stage this happens. So that means which customer that we have shipped out the product to, for example.
Yeah.
And then if, let's say, the cause of the recall is due to the supplier, they need to go back and communicate with the supplier. So again, that itself will complete the whole traceability cycles, because we need to be able to know firsthand what happened and how we can solve the problem as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you so much, Lisa. Bernard, when it comes to ERP solutions, how do we weigh what are the pros and cons choosing the customized system, as you mentioned just now, and versus the out-of-box solution?
You see, the idea is, right, while out of the box solution, naturally they provide less hassle adoption and implementation. Often business only limit themselves to using, just like I explained, of what is being offered and what's available out of the box. Then again, when choosing a customized system, there is another worry. is often whether or not the perceived delivery will be similar as anticipated, right? Also, customization is often not the end of the story. When there are actually new business requirements that may emerge in the future, how then we can choose sustainability of the new customized system? How then can we choose to ensure that all these new features or new business requirement will be in the system? So um, actually ERP today have actually evolved into focusing what they do best, right? So like for instance, enterprise resource planning, while leaving the very niche requirement in the hands of the best in the industry. Okay, give you an example of the term that we often use in the ERP world, right? We call this working either with the best of breed or best of suite. Okay, best of breed meaning to say that we work with champions in different parts of the system. Give you a very good example would be I have an ERP system that handles all my procurement, and handles all my production, and handles all my sourcing of ingredients and produce it, right? Whereas I have also a flagship store that actually sells to the consumer. I could have an e-commerce. I could also have a point of sale system. Just giving an example, maybe a Subway. Okay, I have a point of sale system that sells a kiosk that sells to the users, right? While the ERP wouldn't be able to handle what you are handling in the point of sale system, right? Whereby you will have daily, maybe daily discount, right? You buy this, you get this product mixture, right? Well, all those are good in the point of sale system because that is your interaction with your customer. But hence why we introduce, as I have mentioned just now, APIs, whereby you use the application programming interface to integrate your point of sale system back to the ERP, right? So while we do not recommend having an ERP functionality in the point of sale system, you wouldn't want to start planning how your purchases in a point of sale system. The later is also the same. On contrary, you do not want to have a point of sales features into an ERP. Let's give you an example. I do not want an ERP that deals with thousands of daily sales records. Let's just imagine, right? How many the customer are walking into Subway and buy their sandwiches, right? And I do not want that whole chunk of data to be ported into an ERP. Whereas to me, what is important as an ERP is really the record of that daily sales of that particular outlet only, right? Whereas I leave the analyzing whether the store have how many subs, what are the best seller of their subs, what are the best seller of the sandwiches to the point of sale system. The idea is really finding that kind of balance instead of having one really built system that caters for everything, right? So that is a fine balance as us being IT professionals to really help users to make that choice. So we are really in there to help them to consult the sales, right? To tell them by having this requirement, this really fits into your ERP, whereas the other sets of requirement, maybe you need to actually put in an additional point of sale system, for example. Those are the kind of advisors that we do offer as a software vendor. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Bernard. So, Lisa, out of coming from Bernard, and I would like to ask you, what is the role of change management play in ERP implementation, and how can business effectively? Again, you need to manage it. So, my end user question is ERP user friendly, and how is it for the staff to learn and use?
Okay. Okay, so normally when a business or a company going through has decided that they must get an ERP system for their business, right? So they will go through the process of identifying the requirements, what exactly the challenges that they want to solve, those kind of things, right? And some people actually believe that the suitability of the system is the major contributor to the implementation failures. But actually, in reality, nearly 70% of the project failures are due to the people management. So that is actually is the hidden key to the project success, is the people management. Yeah. So as Bernard mentioned earlier, people scared that, oh, okay, so if the ERP system is on board, so what happened to me? Do I still have a job? So that also is part of the change management. So especially for the business owners, all the stakeholders, they have to be able to communicate this clearly to the users or to the employees, and basically allow them to basically share the information. So ERP basically is going to help the employees to contribute in the growth of the organization or the business. That is important. The message must be clear. And then and then the other thing is that employees also must truly understand that the ARP will help them to organize better, will cut down the manual work. So if let's say before this they have to manually issue an invoice, just example, now with the system they can automate that process, and they are free to do other better things like analyze the data, help the bosses to basically make a better decision making, share more information like whether are we doing good in terms of the productivity, how is the margin of the cost is high or low. Those are the things that we need to be able to analyze in more detail instead of delve into the manual work, right? So the employees must understand that, and all the stakeholders must be able to embark on this, and communication is very, very important in this case. Yeah. So the importance of the change management basically is the user adoption. Just like I mentioned just now, 70% because of the people management. And then we need to minimize the resistance. So how do we minimize the resistance? Is through communication. That is important too, right? And we need to be able to also maximize the benefits. So ERP system is basically is to help the business to grow. Just like Bernard mentioned earlier, that once we want to be able to export our product to other countries. We don't want to just start in Malaysia. We want to be able to go to the whole world, right? So as long as we are able to basically cut down all the manual work, the challenges that they face now, so definitely ERP system will be able to help them to grow basically and expand it, the business in much wider market. And the change management also help to mitigate the risk. That is also, we need to make sure we be able to, if let's say we plan to say that to implement in 3 months time, so then we need to plan it properly. So all this must be shared. All the milestone and the KPIs, all this has to be shared to everyone, including the employees at the low level as well. That like I said, communication is important. Just to share with you a bit, like we involved in many implementations. So the past experience that we have basically is when the business owners or the decision makers get involved from day one, that actually speed up the process. And they are on board to understand what are the challenges that the employees is facing, and they'll be able to work together and appreciate better. And that actually honestly will shorten the implementation process because everyone is on board. So that is important. Yeah.
Okay, so I would assume that I would not an assumption. I think an adequate training is crucial for ERP. So pretty much it will be okay. So perhaps you can elaborate on the training, and also perhaps as mentioned you just now, communication from the vendor to your client.
Because what we do is we don't just push the product to the business or the companies and say that go ahead and use it, right? We must be able to help them. So the main key point here is we want to be able to grow with them. We want to be able to solve the challenges that they have now. that is the whole idea of having a system, is to address the challenges that the company has.
Yeah.
So that's why training also is important, like what Syilda mentioned just now. So that is all part of the journey during the implementation. So we do discovery first, like what Bernard mentioned earlier. And once we identify that, we set all the milestone and what are the objectives we want to achieve. And then, of course, definitely training. Training is the most important thing as well. So without that, the user will not be able to understand that how the system will help them. So yes, so that is part of the parcel of the implementation.
Okay. Fantastic.
If
All
I
right. Yeah.
can just add
Add
in a
on.
bit,
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead,
to
Bernard.
what Lisa had mentioned. You see, the idea about giving adequate training is on top of having the training course that is catered while understanding what the businesses needs, right? Like the company A may need the training to be structured in that way. The other way to look at it is also you are also sharing the experience from the consultants, because the consultant that is deployed to the projects, right? They also have experiences in other businesses. They will also share with you what are the best practices, maybe out there, right? They do it, how they do it in Indonesia, how they do it in Thailand, for example. That could be also the knowledge adoption that you can adopt, that hey, maybe this is a more efficient way for us to actually go for this kind of scenario in the business,
Okay.
right? So those are the kind of also the benefits from the consultants. Yeah, just that.
All right. Thank you so much, Bernard. Okay. Moving on. Still with the halal industry also. Can you, Bernard, perhaps examples of how businesses can effectively use the ERP system to manage and coordinate the ingredient procurement while adhering to the halal standard?
To me, right, Shilda, for a procurement team to efficiently and effectively collaborate ingredient procurement, is really a two-way flow. It's their communication within themselves as well as the supplier out there in the market, right? So how ERP really helps, like Lisa had mentioned earlier, is really just not just to ensure the correct certificate, but the valid certificate, right? So I could be a vendor with all the halal certificate or kosher requirement certificate, but the validity of the certificate, and without having a system, I might have need to manually store it somewhere, and the procuring team may have to actually check based on their manual records, right? By having a system, the system can automatically recommend through the e-procurement to the purchaser what are the eligible supplier or supplier for this particular requirement, for this particular ingredient that you need to procure. That is the first step, right? When they communicate, and once they do the invitation out and they blast it out to based on their selection of eligible supplier, then through the portal, and the supplier can then communicate back to the procuring team. They can actually log in their response of ingredient, what are their how much do they have, okay, what are the price that they can offer, and what is the validity of this price. They can maybe give you about 1 month, that they can lock the price for 1 month, and then from there what we then would say that the procuring team or the procuring head will make an informed decision. I will choose because based on this, because they can lock the price the longest, or I will choose this based on their lead time, the time that they take to deliver me the ingredients is the shortest. Those are the kind of things that maybe the procuring team are not just looking at the price, can make a decision upon, right? And once that is selected, and this particular supplier is automatically locked into the ERP, and every time when the purchasing team, right, raise a purchase order for that particular ingredient, that particular supplier will be suggested by the system. And based on that price, based on that availability, based on that contract period with that particular supplier. So all this comes into place, and why we focus on efficiency. You see, the idea is not really replacing the purchaser, but rather give them more information to make an informed decision. Yeah.
All right. Okay, thank you, Bernard. We have been discussing almost 46 minutes at this point of time. It's very, very lovely and informative. Lisa, since Bernard has mentioned with regards to the examples on how we effectively use the ERP system to manage and coordinate the ingredient, the procurement part. So maybe Lisa, your best practices or success stories that you can share from your clients, perhaps regarding the use of ERP in the halal industry, or perhaps an examples that you foresee. We've been talking this year, been talking about the halal industry. The government has been pushing it. Let's embark into the halal ecosystem, etc., etc. So, Lisa, your say, and of course, Lisa, need your best advice to give to halal industry professionals considering the ERP adoption. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, in today's, I mean, basically we talk about there's AI, there's robotics, everything is out there. It's so advanced now.
Yeah,
I mean, there's so many things that the technology keep changing, right? So in
correct.
order for us to grow as a business, we must be able to go on embark on a system. That is important.
A
Otherwise, we will
process,
be,
yeah.
yeah, or the process. We have to be able to automate that in order for
Yeah.
us to grow. That is very, very important. So when we talk about the best practice, right, to start with, I mean, as a business or the professionals, they must have a clear understanding what does the business needs,
Okay.
what are the challenges that they're facing now that the system will be able to help to solve it, right? So that is important. So it goes back to the company or the business. They have to identify that first. And of course, we are here as well. I mean, Sage and Synergy, before we do anything, when we communicate or liaise with our clients or the prospects, the first thing we do is we have to do the discovery. Bernard mentioned that earlier as well, because that is very, very important. So the discovery will help us to understand what solution we can offer, because ERP is big. It has so many features in there, but not necessary that you need to have all at this stage, because ERP can grow as the business grow, right? So you can go in stages for that reason. So that's why the understanding of the business needs is very important. And relate back to the change management that I mentioned before, all stakeholders must be on board. That is very important too. Emphasize, and you have to emphasize, basically, especially for the business owners, it has to be in line with the business vision as well, right?
Yeah.
So the business owners or the professionals must emphasize the importance of the change management so that everyone understand. Uh, the business also must be able to willing to invest in training, because that is important for the users or the employees. Communication is another thing, and of course support. We are here to support our clients, so that it will make sure that the employees or the users will be able to be prepared for the changes that the ERP system brings to them, right? So the most important thing is, like as I've mentioned before, that ERP is not to replace what they are doing now. Basically, they replace their job, but it helps them to grow and do much better to be able to grow the business together. Yeah. And as a stakeholders, we must be able to set the clear objective. So we have to be able to identify or set out what are the goals that we want to achieve as part of the implementation. What are the KPIs we want to meet, right? And then we need to be able to align this with the business vision and the strategic objectives. So as well as in that sense that when we talk about the ERP earlier, because I mentioned that there are lots of features, there's big. So another way of approach is you can also implement in phases or bite-sized implementation, we'll say that. So instead of going everything in one hit, you can go stage by stage, right? So that also allows the users or the employees of the business to slowly understand and appreciate the system. So end of the day is a people management. So that is a very important things that we have to achieve. And if let's say we set the KPIs, we set the goals, the business owners and so on, the stakeholders, celebrate the success. For every milestone that they have achieved, they should celebrate the success together. So that also keep the employees to motivate and that engage them in the change process. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, since we already it's about to end of the show, Bernard and also Lisa, your last word and also your last advice for the show. Bernard, let's start with Bernard.
I
Anything
think
else that
that
you want to add on? Yeah.
I think really for all the viewers and listeners out there, right? The idea of ERP itself is not scary. Why I want to put it out there is it's really meant to help you to derive the best decision. The idea is have a plan of when you are going into a ERP, have a plan of what you want to optimize and what you want to be better in, right? Then get engaged with companies like us to actually help you to see what can you do with your plan, right? So start off instead of going to ERP vendors and say, tell me what your system can do, right? Because
Yeah.
just as Lisa mentioned, it is so comprehensive, right? It's so big, right? Yeah. So that would be my last advice. Yeah, if I can say. Yeah.
So, if Bernard, if anybody would like to inquire with regards to ERP, who do you speak to? And also,
Uh,
we have a website that we can. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, we actually have a website that generally tells the audience what
Yeah.
an ERP is all about and what our unique proposition is. But to me, really, if you really want a more personalized approach, just like I say, different businesses may have different needs. And what is
Yeah.
in the website, I'll be very honest, it will be pretty generic. It may not be catered specifically for what you need. So what we would advise is get in touch with our partners like Lisa team. So because they are experienced, they have implemented before. So they will be the best person to really advise you on what to do first, right? What to go about and what you should put on hold to the next phase and things like that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Bernard. And for more information that we can speak to Lisa. Lisa, perhaps later you can also share your contact number or your email address, and we can just put it in the comment box. So, Lisa, your last word or your last advice to our viewers out there.
Okay, my last take basically is we need to view ERP system, the adoption of it as a strategic investment for the business. Yeah, approach it with a long-term perspective because we want to grow, right, together, and be open to the innovation, learn and adapt. Because ERP system can be powerful enablers of growth and efficiency when integrated into your business strategy effectively. So when we talk about the change management, the implementation and everything, when it is done right, the ERP can indeed be a game changer for the business. And
Yeah.
it can be the superhero for the business actually in various industries, including the halal sector.
All right, thank you so much, guys. All right, as what we can derive today, so ERP is not just a one-time implementation; it's an ongoing process, as what Lisa has mentioned. You need to regularly, what do you call that, refine and access your system, and keep it aligned with your evolving business needs. And you can somehow customize it and speak up to Bernard in order for you to understand better and to make your business grow. All right. That's all we have for today's episode, our 11th episode of HIP Live Tech and Tech. Thank you so much again to Bernard and Lisa. And for those who wants more information with regards to ERP system and wants to adopt or perhaps want to meet up with Bernard and Lisa, I think Lisa is going to also put up her contact number on the comment box on our Facebook. Or you can also contact a HIP. And in order for you to contact HIP, you need to be a HIP member. So our HIP member, we can look at the scroller there. It's hip.htcglobal.com. It's free and it's open to all. Okay. If you're not even in the halal industry, please do so. Have that intention, have that niyat to be part of halal industry. Okay. So that's
Sorry,
what we have.
Shilda, if I
Yes.
may add one more thing. We will be
Can,
part
can.
of the Mihas next week.
Yes,
So
Mihal, yes.
yes,
I have forgotten about it. Yeah.
yes. So you'll be there as well, right, Shilda?
Yes.
So we're excited about it. So we look forward to be able to meet all the players there. So yeah, this is a very interesting and exciting for us. So hope to see you all there next week. We'll be at level 1.
Okay, inshallah. Please do come to our also our pavilion, HDC Halal Development Corporation in MDEC for Mihas from the 12th, 12, 13, 14, and 15. We shall be there. And Liza, do join us also in our Halal Pavilion. We have a lot of activities in store, and perhaps we can also have a nice chit chat over at our Halal Pavilion in Mihas in MDEC. Yeah. Okay, that's all we have for today's show. Be sure to join in as HIP member, hip.hdcglobal.com. Okay, thank you so much, and
Thank you.
let's have ERP success stories in the future, inshallah. Thank you so much. Okay,
Inshallah.
Assalamualaikum.
Thank you,
Bye.
Shilda.
Thank you.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Hello everyone, I'm Mizi, and today I'll be showing you on how you can register with HIP. Let's go! First, you need to register your account at hip.hdcglobal.com. Fill in your email, password, and don't forget to tick the box before you proceed. Click Get Started. Success! Next, fill in your personal details on the user profile page and click Update. Success! Most importantly, fill in all information of your company on the business profile page and click Update. Success! Don't forget to fill in the organization information and click Update. Success! Complete your products and services listing here so that your range of products is visible, and here is the example of a completed business profile. And we are done. Easy, isn't it? Register as HIP member and accelerate your business with HDC.
Malaysia's digital journey began more than 2 decades ago when MSC Malaysia was set up to transform the country into a knowledge-based economy. Since then, MSC Malaysia has contributed immensely towards the growth of the nation's digital economy. Our next step is to take the digital transformation from the corridor to the world. Introducing Malaysia Digital, a strategic initiative which will empower the rakyat, businesses and foreign investments. Malaysia Digital will also elevate the participation of Malaysians and local businesses in revolutionizing the world's digital economy. Malaysia Digital opens doors for Malaysians by providing equitable access to digital tools, knowledge and income opportunities. It offers new business opportunities and growth through a supportive digital ecosystem. It also provides flexible and agile investment facilitation to make the country investment friendly. The goal is to drive the digital ecosystem and develop the digital economy to a stage where it contributes at least 25.5% of our GDP and creates 500,000 jobs by 2025.
Malaysia Digital will galvanize public-private partnerships to accelerate the growth of our digital economy and drive positive transformation that ultimately benefit the rakyat, businesses, investors, and also the whole nation.
Establishing Malaysia into a digital nation, one with more adept, stronger and resilient economy, society, and governance. Stepping into tomorrow's digital future today.
Stop.